Hey, welcome on the spot to have with me David Duarte. He is a realtor that's based out of Tri-Valley area. Known him at the
Sure.
Federal High School, and he's a guest on my On the Spot Today podcast show. So, David, floor is yours. Go ahead and introduce yourself and go from there.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? David Duarte, Keller Williams Tri-Valley, based out of the Tri-Valley. I'm also a team lead in my own team, Duarte Family Real Estate Services here. I have a team of 9 agents plus myself. Born and raised in the Bay Area, graduated from Foothill High School. So local guy, much like my boy here, Steven. So
Cool. So, you ready to go through these questions on the spot? You ready to go?
let's do it.
All right. So, the first one, what are your thoughts on the real estate market, predictions, future? What do you see as far as now and present, going in?
Yeah, good question, Steve. So real estate market right now, I'm sure as you can attest to, is a little volatile, a little bit all over the place, right? It's definitely no longer a seller's market like it was during COVID. Things have shifted with rise of interest rates, a lot more inventory. I mean, let's take Pleasanton as an example. Over 100 plus homes on the market, which is unusual for this time of year for Pleasanton. People are kind of in a holding pattern on the buyer side, right? They're not really jumping. There's a lot of talk of rates going down, but nothing really happening, right? It just seems everyone's kind of like unsure of what to do. Still some deals going on for sure, but again, not what we're used to. I think year over year, just in terms of median price value, using Pleasant example, they're down 12%. So I think if you ask me for predictions, I think it's going to be more of the same for a little while until we see something give, right? Whether that be less inventory, right? Maybe some sellers back off saying, you know what, this is the time rates make a good dip or, it affects affordability, right? Because people buy big things on payment and down payment, right? What they can afford. So I would say the next year or so, probably going to hold tight until we really start seeing some movement from, the economy and the rates. So.
Gotcha. Cool. Good thoughts on that. You want to share a struggle you went through in your business or life with our audience out there?
Yeah. First time I went through recently in business or life, I would give this example. I had a client who was referred to me by another client, that sold their home in Livermore, and they had an original home that they had owned for quite a long time in San Leandro. And it was a rental for a while. And they told me the property was, I can't remember if they used the words turnkey or like move-in ready. Dude, I'm not kidding you. We went in there. It was supposed to be a 3-bedroom house on public record. They literally cut a hole in one of the walls separating the 2 bedrooms. It was like this one Frankenstein bedroom thing. And I kind of look at them. I'm like, this house needs a lot of work, guys. I don't know if it's like turnkey. You wanted to try to sell it as is to an investor and you guys not deal with the headache, right? Because they're out in Arizona and they want to do a 1031 exchange. Originally, we got him an offer for like 700K from a local investor. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? This house, I think just with floors, paint, fixing that wall, turning it back into a true 3-bedroom, and a couple of small things, I think they could get a lot more money because there was a comparable that sold for like in the nines in that same neighborhood. It's actually a really nice neighborhood of San Leandro, Vista Gardens, right next to like the living space and off the freeway. And I want to be able to sleep good at night. So I made kind of a decision as, hey guys, I have a, contractor coming here. For 40 grand, they can make this thing a lot better. Convince the clients to do it. House looked way better. We staged it up. My wife did a great job. Really knocked that out of the park with that one. And we were able to get them an offer clean for 900 grand. So from 700, which they were cool with, but in 40, they got 900 grand. So that was a whole recent story of kind of what I'm going through with some of the business right now.
Gotcha. Cool. How about do you have a quote that you live by that you want to share with us?
A quote that I live by, I think that one thing I like to live by is that it'll all work out, right? Kind of like cliche, like that new Little Wayne song, it'll all work out, right? But I'm a believer in that, like in some capacity, everything's going to work out, right? I think it's hard in the moment to kind of think that way, right? Because a lot of us get like discouraged or like, have anxiety of not know what's going on. But I think I've learned in, the last few years for sure that things will work out one way or another. So that's one quote I like to live my life by.
Gotcha. Good one. Good thoughts. Is there a mistake you made in real estate that you regret?
A mistake I made in real estate that I'd like to correct. Yeah. If I could go back, I think one of the hardest realizations I had, I'm sure you could probably agree to this too, is that we think we get our license, like all of our family and friends are going to flood us with business, right? And it's like, hey, here you go, right? Like one of the hardest lessons I've learned is, this is my saying and belief in regards to this, real estate sometimes will teach you how close you are or are not with someone, right? Because
100%.
people don't want to be experimented on, right? They don't want to be like your first transaction. And I kind of noticed that once I got some stuff going, people were more willing to work with me. But there are a lot of people that I literally flat out, I know this is wrong, but expected like business from that they went elsewhere, right? And there's some people where I never thought in a million years we'd do a deal together. We did. So if I could go back in time, I'd just kind of reset my expectations and kind of like put myself more in their shoes of like, no one wants to have their biggest purchase, most likely in their lifetime, be my first deal, right? So that was something I learned.
No, to agree with that. It's very true. They say thick skin, so you have thick skin in the industry as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, totally.
super thick skin, man. That's for sure.
Okay, what's your favorite show you watch nowadays on Netflix or TV? What's out there you like to watch and to show the listeners out there?
So I'm sure as you know, as being a realtor, we're running around all the time. So I don't get a ton of downtime to watch shows. I find myself being more of a movie guy at the end of the day. My wife's a big show person. Like guilty pleasure. I end up watching some of her shows and original. I'm like, oh, I hate these shows. And then we're watching together. I end up like liking them. I would say it's a combination of like 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, and then some of the like the HGTV shows. That's kind of what I end up watching for TV shows wise.
Gotcha. Cool. So Dave, you get introduced out there. What's your walk up song when it coming out to? You know, we're gonna play
Oh,
for you.
walk up song, right? We gotta set the vibe, whether it be sports or anything like that. If I had to pick
Yeah.
one, I would say throwing him back a tad bit, the early 2010s. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember him, Kid Ink. I really liked his song "Hell and Back," right? Because it's something I kind of relate to. Like, hey, I've been from hell and back, and here I am, right?
Yeah.
So if I had to pick a walk up song as of today, that
Gotcha. Cool. All right. So I know you're a football fan, I know you're an Eagles fan and all. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of players? Who's on there? Who you got?
we're talking current or past.
We could be both.
Okay. So we're doing current. I think we got to give love to Saquon Barkley. What he did last season was phenomenal. The defenses are kind of picking up on him this season, so it's not quite the same. But I mean, dude ran for 2,000 yards, could have probably broke the rushing record had we not sat him in the Giants game. Just year one, I mean, just phenomenal. We're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, the guy's hitting, 60 plus yards, touchdowns like weekly. Current Eagle, you got to give him some love. Past Eagles, honestly, I would say Donovan McNabb. Love the guy. I watched him all the time. And, I used to call him Superman 5. The guy could just do it. I mean, just make crazy plays. In his later years, he got Deshaun Jackson, but like didn't have a lot of weapons, had to deal with like Terrell Owens being a nightmare. Took the Eagles to, 4 consecutive NFC championships in the early 2000s, right? Like, just guy was a gamer, just had resilience and just kept going no matter what was thrown at him. So that's one of my guys for sure.
So you liked McNabb over Vic?
McNabb, Vic, yeah. Vic was special, and I think his redemption arc was cool, right? Like, I mean, this guy went from getting in federal prison for dogfighting, which is really bad stuff, and turned around and became actually kind of, in my opinion, a role model, but a little bit more short-lived, right? And a
Yeah.
little bit more tumultuous past.
All right. So who is your GOAT in football? You got to pick
My
one.
GOAT in football, man, as much as hard to say, since he's retired, I think I'm appreciating him a little bit more. I think you gotta give love to Tom Brady, man. 7 rings, did it with the
Yeah.
Patriots, did it with the Bucks, right? Like, I mean, the guy is just a proven winner. I mean, if we look at Bill Belichick, a lot of people were like doubting, is it Brady or is it Belichick? I think it's safe to say now it was Brady, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta give Tom love. I mean, he was San Mateo guy. Like, we love to hate him when he was playing because he was just that good. He was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. You knew the guy was going to bring it every Sunday.
So what are your thoughts so far as the NFL season? I mean, we just kind of started. I know Eagles are out there. What's your prediction? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, no, great question. I think it's been an any given Sunday kind of year, right? Like, just when you think you got it down, some team will blow another team out that you didn't see coming, or a really good team will drop one, right? I think it's so early on, right? 4-ish games in, right? So the Eagles are looking good at 4-0. It's still going to be a tough hill to climb for us, but I think it's going to be contended, right? Bills look good, 4-0 as well. You can't count the Chiefs out, even if they drop a few games, as long as they got 15 back there at quarterback, they have an opportunity. So honestly, I mean, biased enough, I'd like to say my Eagles are in the hunt, but I think it's anyone's year. There's not one team that I would say is like running away with it. The Ravens look kind of bad, which is unusual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wide openness. I mean, the Colts are like in first place in their division, which is unheard of as the last few years. So it's anyone's year this year, I think.
The Raiders fans, you want to let them know how their season might go?
The Raiders fans' advice, I would say hold on tight. It's going to be a bumpy ride here, right? It's year one of Pete Carroll and company. I don't think Geno Smith's the answer. He's been a pick machine lately. I think Ashton Genty, as he gets comfortable, we continue to be like an asset for them, right? I mean, last week, again, like 3 touchdowns against the Bears, right? And it was funny enough, there are a lot of people talking about like his, he went back to his college stance and how that made a difference. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think for the Raiders fans, just hold on tight. There's some good pieces there. Regenti, Crosby, what's his name? The tight end, is it Myers or what's his name?
Brock Byers.
Yeah. That's the tight ends they got there. So, I mean, there's some good pieces there, but, as of today, unfortunately, they're still the Las Vegas Oakland Raiders.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. Something you did in the pandemic that you picked up that you do today that you didn't do before, that you still do today?
Something I picked up from the pandemic, but I still used to say, easy one, I think, again, this one's something I had an issue with personally, but I think it became something that the role focused on, right? Hand cleanliness, right? So I find myself nowadays, like I'll wash my hands multiple times, even if I just did it recently. I see some hand sanitizer. I'll throw that on there, and also too, I mean, let's call it what it is. I think a lot of us end up self hoarding toilet paper. Like I'll go to Costco and I'll buy multiple like things in them. So, you know, it's some of the things that stuck with me.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this: what's your dream car?
Which was he? Sorry, no, yeah.
What's your dream car?
My dream would
Your dream car.
It's a tough one. I would say one car I've always wanted, and I would love to work on and build it my way is like a '69 Chevelle SS. Get like a, frame off one and just put whatever engine I want, mission, maybe make it a little bit modern, but still classic. That's just a timeless car. It just looks cool. You got any muscle car show, you're usually going to see one or two of them. It takes you back to American badass muscle cars.
Yeah. I'm sure you saw Good Guys has a few of those out there too as well. I'm guessing, right?
Oh yeah,
The Good
growing up in
Guys car show.
Pleasanton is it's a staple,
Yeah.
right? The Good Guy Car Show at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
I did even like Hot August Nights arena. I go with my grandfather. We would do that. That was a good time. Cars and Coffee and Black Hawk. I did that, and then
Yeah.
Niles had their own kind of car show too, I believe.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the EV car and how you see it and what do you think about that?
Sorry, see, I missed you. Thoughts on which one?
The EV car.
EV
car.
cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. I mean, being in California, I think that EV cars are a huge part of what we do here, right? We're in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Tesla's here. I've had a few of them over the years, and I'll tell you this much that the technology has gotten substantially better on those cars, right? It's funny you asked the timing wise. Actually, just back in June, I picked up a Hummer EV pickup truck. So I'm currently driving an EV. I think they're just going to become more and more predominant in everyday life. Some of the other states, maybe not some of the coastal ones like us and the East Coast have already kind of adopted it. The Midwest and stuff as they adopted, I think you'll see at some point, I don't know, next 10, 15 years, maybe every household has one EV or so. It's the way of the future. I think technology is getting better, just like our, good old cell phones here. And I think that'll be the trend.
Yeah, I drove an EV car. It was a nice experience. Only thing I was warning was about those charging stations. You don't have one, you got to look for it and find them. If you don't have the house, but yeah, and have an adapter too. So you got to kind of be on the prowl for those when you're driving around.
Dude, yeah, good call out. So charging networks is big. So on my truck, General Motors actually made a partnership with Tesla where you can use their charging networks with an adapter. It's the funniest thing ever, dude. I give these Tesla guys, like straight up software engineers, they see my big, black pickup truck there and they're like confused and like angry. They're like, this isn't a Tesla. I'm like, I know, buddy, it's still electric. Like it's the funniest things, but I think that's going to be more the norm because Tesla's created such a good charging network. And they've kind of figured, hey, we can make money off these other brands if we allow them to use our network as well.
Yep, totally. It's good. It's a good one. All right, let me ask you this question. If you go back in time, what age would you pick to go back and live at?
Oh man, you are putting me on the spot with these good ones here.
Yeah.
If I could go back, Steve, I would probably go back to like early high school. And I'd probably take some things a little bit more serious than I probably didn't back then. Because one of those guys, like if it didn't catch my interest, I zoned it out in class, right? But towards the end of my high school career, rather than like trying to rush to like junior college where I do a whole hospice thing that like a lot of us did, I probably would do like kind of like my brother did a year in the Marine Reserves, right? Because the benefits you get for just a little bit of service go a long way, right? It teaches you a lot of discipline and accountability too. I mean, dude, I would love to be qualified for a VA loan or some of the VA benefits, right? So I think if I could go back, I'd go back to, right when I started high school and kind of have those kind of things set in mind. Hey, focus in school a little bit more. And when you get out, don't rush to go to, junior college. Put some time in the reserves,
Yeah, VA loan, that was a good one to have. That's a good thing they give to people to help buy a home after their, All right, let me ask you this one. Do you have a favorite field trip you did as a kid that you remember that you liked?
Favorite field trip as a kid?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Let me think here. Honestly, not a ton from my early years stick out. I know it's gonna sound funny, but probably senior year we went to what's that place in Concord? It's
Water World.
Water Park. What the heck's it
Or
called?
something called, yeah. It was
Raging
called like
Waters, I think, or something like that.
Typhoon Lagoon, I think now or something maybe it's called. But yeah.
Something like that. It's changed hands. I think back then, I mean, this was late 2000s. I think it was Raging Waters. That was fun. I remember it was like, I kind of knew high school was coming to a close and like, we're all having fun and, you're trying to figure out which friends snuck in alcohol and stuff. So, that was one that stuck out to me.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So I'm guess you're in the millennial generation, right?
Which one?
Are you millennial? I'm guessing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on you got the tech, you got the chat GPT, you got the AI. Kids how they have all this tech in front of them. What do you think about how it is today with the kids, having the chat GPT and AI and all that in front of them now, where we just kind of had it as we gradually had it, but they have it like right when they start off. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So good question. I think tech kind of talking about EV cars is going to become just every part of our life is going to involve some sort of tech. I think with these kids, it makes their lives easier, right?
Mm,
But I also think in the long run, if they become too dependent on kind of like we are with these cell phones, right? It's going to make our
yeah.
lives more difficult because we're not having, problem solving skills ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So I think that, like I've already heard it, when like Chat GBT was big the last few years when it came out, like you have teachers like figuring out what's real and what's like Chat GPT for a whole like essay
Yeah,
and stuff. So I think
yeah.
that will be the challenge moving forward is like, okay, where's the balance of this, right? Because you have to have balance in anything you do or else you get out of whack, right? Like, am I going to be literally just so dependent on tech that I do nothing, right? And I just have it. Like, are we turning into Terminator here? Like, I mean, again, I love Chat GBT. I'm sure you can probably test to it. Saves realtors hours per year on listing
Yeah,
descriptions. Before we used to call and ask for advice and like Google Words get creative, but now, dude, it does in seconds, right? So
yeah.
again, pros and cons, but balance, I think. So
Let me ask you this. You got a movie you recently watched that you liked?
recent movie that I watched, that I liked. I kind of consider myself an amateur film critic. Just kidding. One I really liked, I liked the new 28 Years Later that came out, the third movie in the 28 Days kind of franchise. The original director, Danny Boyle, came back because the second one had a different guy and a little bit different tone. It's
Mhm.
been almost, gosh, 3 years since the original one. So that was really good. Had a lot of good themes. It was cool, like nostalgia and like seeing the continuation of that story. And I thought it was very well written and shot. So that was a movie I really liked recently.
Cool. Yeah, have you experienced the 40X yet? Any of that in the movie theaters lately? Or any of that,
The crazy thing at like IMAX and Regal in Dublin.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
dude, I've done it once on accident. So I went and saw the Wolfman movie when that came out
yeah.
by myself, and I just picked whatever was available. Right, it was like a weekday at like 9 o'clock, and I get there and I'm like, "Whoa, would you mind? Is there like an earthquake? Like my chair is shaking because I didn't have any description or like disclaimer of what I was getting into." It starts spraying the water, like the wind. I'm like, dude, this is overwhelming, man. Like it felt like a roller coaster in a movie. So I don't know if I would do it again, but I did
Yeah.
experience it.
Yeah, it's pretty good experience in like F1, saw the Jurassic Park Rebirth,
Yeah.
and I saw Glider 2 like that. But it's kind of like it's a cool little experience. I think it's worth, I know it's different. I mean, you can't have popcorn in your seat because you're going to spill it, but it was cool, you know?
It's like holding my stuff tight like this. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gives you a couple of jerks and then the water splashes. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Dude, I thought
All
someone
right.
freaking hooked to it on me or something. Like I was like, whoa, what the hell's that?
So are you a Apple Ranger guy?
Apple, Android. How do I say this in a nice way? Because I know there's some rebels out there who still love Android, but
Yeah,
Apple diehard. I
yeah,
always have an iPhone. Again, Apple's based out of here. It's just too convenient. There's too much like technology and infrastructure supports Apple. I think
yeah,
Apple products make life a lot easier. Are they the most like complex technology? No, but I'm not, a scientist. I'm not an engineer. I'm not signing up for. I'm signing for my phone to be easy to do what I needed to do. So Apple for sure.
yeah. So when you see those green bubbles pop up in a group text, or what's your reaction?
Literally the little emoji M's like this. I'm like, oh, dude, like I can't, if I mess up, because I don't know about you, I will either use like talk to text or I'll type really fast and I'll screw up stuff by not proofreading it. So,
Yeah,
I can't edit it. Like I get so frustrated. Like, images don't always go across, cleanly.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
So
wish
it's not
someone would
delivered. Yeah,
do not deliver to. It's like, yeah. It's like I wish they can come to an agreement. It's like, okay, let's play well together, or Android will just get bought out by Apple. Like I don't know how we
yeah.
find a happy medium.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay, let me ask you this. You want to share a tip of the week, life tip, business tip, success tip for our listeners out there?
Week, I would say have patience. I think a lot of us today live in a world where we want everything now in instant, especially with like the rise in tech and cell phones, right? Patience is a virtue. And I think that, a lot of, especially the millennials and the younger generations don't have that as much. But I've found sometimes if I kind of pause and wait, let things kind of come to me, some cool things do happen rather than trying to force things, right? And be like, hey, I need it
Yeah,
now. Like, hey, we got to get a resolution. Like, sometimes, like, just stopping and letting it happen and unravel, a lot of cool things happen. So, my tip of the week, just be patient. It'll come to you.
that's a good one. Good thoughts on that. Let me ask you this. If you could pick someone to sit down and eat with, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, man. I see why you call us on the spot. See, man, that's another one you put me on the spot here. I would say I'm not gonna go like crazy down celebrity pound. I've never been
Yeah,
one person like I think celebrities are cool, but I feel like they're in a just different part of life. Us, they're not real to people like us, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, granted, growing up where we did, we've ran into some celebrities and some are cool. But, early in the year, my grandfather passed away, and he was, a father figure to me. Really was there for me, taught me a lot of cool stuff. So
yeah,
I would say I would love to sit down with him one more time and have like, like dinner or lunch with him and just kind of just chat, and have that final like, extra goodbye, I guess.
Yeah.
That's someone I'd like to for sure.
Yeah. No, it's usually I hear that a lot of people with grandparents or parents that lost. They want to sit with
Yeah.
them and bring it back. So yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. Good choice.
Thanks.
How about if you're stuck in an elevator? Who do we stuck in an elevator with?
Stuck in an elevator. Can I say an elevator technician?
You can.
I was kidding. No, I would want someone calm and collected because I get a little claustrophobic as I get older. I don't know why. So elevators been one of those situations like we have one in my office because our office right above our Livermore office at least, where my stuff is, it's above Sauce in downtown Livermore. And so
Yeah.
you have to take the elevator third floor. It's kind of an older elevator. And the other day, I thought I was going to get stuck. I literally hit that open button, just get the heck out and take the stairs. So in those situations, you need someone calm. I would honestly say my buddy Kevin, he's a firefighter. And this guy, I'm telling you, it takes a lot to get him upset or rattled. He is just always calm. So if I had to pick someone, I'd probably pick him because one, he probably knows Luke's a firefighter, and the guy's just calm, just like ice in his veins, like doesn't get rattled.
Yeah, firefighters seem to be more calm. I noticed they're like very,
Yeah.
like anything happens, they're kind of right there, and they kind of just know how to handle the situation.
Yeah, they deal with danger every day and saving lives. So.
Yeah. What's your favorite sports team and player? I know you're an Eagles fan, but who do you got? What's your
So yeah, I don't do a ton of other sports outside of football, right?
yeah
So definitely Philadelphia Eagles. I'd probably say if I had to pick one player, again, not my goat like we talked about earlier, or like their
yeah
current player, I'd say probably Jalen Hurts. What I like about the guy is he deals with a lot of adversity from a lot of criticism over the tush push. We're only winning because of that, or he's throwing for not a ton of yards, but we're still winning, or whatever. The guy just doesn't respond to the criticism. He just keeps moving forward with his eyes on the prize, right? And I mean, the guy's won like the last 19 of 20 games he's played or something like that.
yeah
So just a proven winner. It just proves that, sometimes if you zone out the nonsense and just go to work and keep moving forward, you can do a lot of great things. So I will say that's
mm,
my current favorite.
okay. Now, have you seen a game at in Philadelphia? What's the same as
Yeah, the
Wrigley
link.
Field?
I have not actually, funny enough, had several tickets I purchased over the years. And for one reason or another, haven't went. I went locally when they played like the Niners or the Raiders.
Yeah.
Last year, I had tickets to Browns game, and I will shamelessly admit, at that time we were in the midst of the kind of rough start of the season, and then after that we
Yeah.
caught fire. We were like 2-2. We lost to Atlanta and Tampa, and I'm like, dude, we've just got to Philadelphia late. So we're gonna catch the game and go home. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to be in Philadelphia and have them lose to the freaking Browns or something. And it was a rough game, but after that, we didn't lose. I think just one more game for the rest of the season. So no, I haven't. It's on the bucket list. Me and my wife every year talk about it. So I think probably if not this season, maybe the following season we'll get up there.
Cool. Cool. All right. Let me ask you this one. Growing up as a kid, did you watch wrestling? And did you have a favorite wrestler growing up?
Yeah, growing up as a kid, I think a lot of us in our age group probably watched a lot of wrestling. It was
Yeah.
cool. Into whether you believe it or not, some people say it's fake, some people say it's not. Right? Favorite wrestler, I would say Stone Cold Steve Austin. He
Yeah.
was cool. I mean, this guy was wild. I mean, popped up for games and stuff. Like
Yeah.
he just was a lot of fun. So yeah, he was a memorable guy for me.
Yeah, he was good on Monday nights. I remember on Raw. He always come
Uh,
out beginning or during something happened, and he always
yeah,
mixed with Vance or Rock. But yeah, he was good. He was definitely a
yeah,
child. We could turn the clock 9 o'clock, and he'd be on there.
yeah.
What advice would you give yourself at 12 years old?
At 12 years old, I would say probably tell myself a culmination of the two pieces of advice I gave earlier, of like it'll all work out and be patient, right? I
Yeah,
just tell myself, like, hey, dude, like I know in the moment you want to know everything, you think you got it figured out, but let life kind of happen and unravel and learn from it, right?
yeah.
Because you don't know everything right now, but you will learn a lot if you really focus and listen, right? So just be patient. Just let time go on. I know you're in a rush to get older and be an adult, but don't miss your childhood that's right in front of you and just enjoy every moment and just let it happen.
There you go. Good
So I tell
advice.
myself.
Good advice. All right, let me ask you this: how long have you been a homeowner for? And then, what do you love about the city you live in? You want to share with us?
So homeowner now going on almost 8 years. We have a couple homes now. Been in Livermore for a while. I like Livermore, especially where I'm at in Sunset West. It's right off Stanley, which is the first neighborhood of Livermore coming from Pleasanton. So it does have some of that
Oh, okay.
charm of
All right.
Pleasanton a little bit. Not
Yeah.
perfectly Pleasanton, but
Yeah.
it still has some similarities, right? We last year built a new home in Discovery Bay next to my son goes to school actually out here. And I like it out here a little bit slower pace, like 15,000 people. So, it's more of a true town than a city. It's just slower. We're next to the water. Delta's right there. I'll take my son fishing. We can walk to the Delta and get on real quick. a little bit hotter, but I don't mind it. But I like the peace and quiet out here, a little bit more like serenity. So,
Yeah.
I think both cities have stuff to offer. I like a little bit more. You're next to everything. You got the labs, you got the wineries, you got downtown. You're close to all the other major cities. But again, just kind of depends on where you're living.
No, do you have a boat out there in Discovery Bay or any water tour?
It's funny you asked that. I've never been a big boat guy. My garage it actually has boat storage, but I turned into a little gym. Well, actually, let me ask you a question, Steven. So, like I
Yeah.
said, I don't own a boat, but do you know the best way they say to own or to enjoy a boat?
Don't own a boat.
Yeah, a friend. Like find a friend that has a boat and let them do it
Yeah.
because boats, man, God, they're not cheap, right? And it's, as they say, it's money in the water. It's money
Yeah.
in the water. And you might use them a few hours a year, if that, if you're being proactive. So that's one thing I haven't went down, even living out here. Like, I'll rent one or I'll find a friend that has one.
Yeah. No, I get you too. I think it's tempting to get like a jet ski,
Yep.
ride around and have a person on a boat. But yeah, you have it. You got to be in peak summer times. You got to be out there on it. That's why I tell
Totally.
people if you live by the area and you have a boat, I think it's convenient because you're
Yeah.
farther away. It's you got to drive it, put it in the water, so it's. But yeah, I could definitely see that.
Totally. Totally.
Let me ask you this: so you weren't at your current job for work. What would you be doing for work? You think, or see yourself doing?
If I wasn't doing what I was doing,
Yeah.
probably be before I got into real estate, I used to do automotive car sales, like new car franchises for like
Yeah.
Dublin Chevrolet, Cadillac. I worked for a little more Ford, a couple other brands.
Yeah.
I would probably still be in automotive because automotive's always been a passion of mine. Like I love cars,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that. The biggest thing, the reason I got out was my son was born. The hours some of these guys work are brutal.
I bet. Yeah.
You
Do
know,
that from like 9 to 9 or something, right? Or
Dude,
maybe
bell to
eight.
bell, 9 to 9, and you're there until a customer gets here. Say you get a customer at 8 o'clock or 8:30, you make a
Yeah.
deal, you're with them until they're done, which could be an hour, 2, 3 hours after you've already closed. So, and then
Yeah.
you still gotta close up the store on top of that. So, those are the biggest reasons I got out. A lot of fun, but again, I think if I wasn't doing real estate, it'd probably be something in automotive.
So what are three things that stick out to you being in automotive, that being a salesman? What would that stick out that that people probably don't know about? You want to share with us?
Yeah. So one thing's reputation. I think automotive salesmen get a lot of bad rap, right? I think a lot of people don't know, in my opinion, at least the way I was, like your average car salesman may have better customer service skills than your average like employee at Target or what your favorite like retail store.
Yeah.
Because that's how they make money, right? They're commission based for the most part. So they want to give you a good service and a good experience, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is like people will say like they buy a new car. Let's say it's $100,000 car, right? They'll say, "Oh man, like you just made 100 grand." Like, no, you didn't. The dealership, gets the car from the manufacturer, and there's they have a cost too. It's not every dollar's profit, right? So like
Yeah.
the amount of margin that some of these dealerships are surviving on per car is actually way less than you think. Sometimes, depending on the car, if they have a lot of them, they have to move. It could be a few $100 per car. Best
Well,
case scenario, maybe they make a few grand per car, but I mean, for what they're selling, I think that's more than fair. So a lot of people just assume that dealers are just crushing it on every car, which they're not. They have
yeah.
all the economic pressures that other businesses have too. And the last thing I'd say is if you like new cars, the best way to own a new car, and I'm still saying own, is to lease it because a lot of people get sucked into, oh, I'm leasing, I'm renting it. Not really the case. You're paying for a portion of the car and you're
Mhm.
deferring the remaining balance to after lease to decide if you want to keep it, or get rid of it. It's just giving
Yeah.
you options because the thing about it is when you lease it, the bank owns it. When you finance it, guess who still owns it? The bank. You just have a longer term that's a closed contract, right? So
Yeah.
I would tell people don't be afraid of leasing, especially if you like new cars and as expensive as things are getting, like the margin compression of payments and stuff. Like I think the average car payment now is like $800. So if you can save some money, lease a car. Because cars, technology wise, too, are also following trends of like cell phones that like every 2, 3 years there's a new one, right? So I don't know
Yeah.
about you. I wouldn't want a car for like 6, 7, 8 years and know it's going to be obsolete in a few, granted, unless I really love it. But those would be my three hot takes on the car business. So,
Cool thoughts out there. Hope people will hear that and take their advice. Let me
yeah.
ask you this: do you have a favorite video game that you played growing up?
Oh yeah, all day long, Madden, baby. Like I still
Yeah.
play to this day. That's my
Yeah.
one game. If I get time, everyone's asleep. I'll throw on some Madden. I used to be big into playing online, but I just don't have the time to like hit up friends like, hey man, let's go on there. I'll play against the computer. I'll max out like the difficulty, and I'll
Yeah.
just play a couple games of Madden. So that's always been my go-to.
It's always been a good game. I remember playing that too growing up.
Yeah,
I think it's 93, I think. I was at the Cowboys Niners like a rivalry, but yeah, it's over the years, I mean, the graphics and presentations, it's pretty realistic. Gets better and
heck yeah,
better.
I'm quite
What
away
about
above my.
yeah. What about a board game? Do you have a board game that you want to share that you played as a kid?
Man, I wasn't a big board game guy, but when I did play, I think everyone's go-to was like Monopoly. So I played some Monopoly for sure.
Yeah.
Has some cool parallels to life, right? Hey, stay out of jail, like try to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
That was the main one I would play if I when I was younger.
Yeah, no, Monopoly is a popular choice. I think
Yeah,
people like that part of the real estate and the buying property and
yeah.
the money part, but yeah, it's a favorite one.
Heck yeah.
So David, what's your drink of choice?
Drink of choice. I always like some good like whiskey or bourbon, a little bit of rum, and that
Okay.
rum of like darker liquors like that, plus
Yeah.
the cokes, whiskey and coke, bourbon and coke, rum and coke. Can't go wrong. I think it just like sets the mood. It's a chill drink, kind of mellows you out. That plus
Yeah.
like a really good cigar, like that's the secret formula right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I always say my go-to. If not maybe like a beer, but
Yeah.
rum, bourbon, or whiskey.
Oh, cool. See, my brother's in that business with the rum and stuff. He knows all that stuff. So he's in the rum and drinking business.
There you go. He's in the right business.
Yeah. You got any guilty pleasure you want to share with us?
Guilty pleasures. That's a good one. Now I'm on the spot here. I would say my guilty pleasures when, aside from playing like Madden when everyone goes to sleep, is like I will get caught up on work stuff. I will watch movies by myself sometimes because,
Yeah.
like I said, my wife's more big in the reality TV stuff. She's not a huge movie person. I love movies, so just getting stuff around the house done, right? Maybe give myself a little snack here or there, which I probably shouldn't. But just being a little bit of a night owl, and I'll stay up sometimes 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, just getting things done, so the next day is hopefully a little bit easier, or just getting some enjoyment, peace and quiet when everyone's already off to sleep.
Cool. All right. What's your favorite emoji?
Favorite emoji, I would say the thumbs up one or the okay one, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
find myself, real estate, we use that a lot, like, "Oh, okay, cool, got it," roger that kind of thing. That's the one I probably overuse the most, I would say. My favorite.
Yeah. I've used the okay a little bit. Three fingers.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was like a 3-point shot, but I don't know. Maybe you can use it for that too.
Okay, 3-point shot, fill in the blank on your favorite swear word, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Who you want to nominate to be on the show? I know you mentioned maybe like Mike Buff and stuff, but who'd be a good candidate to get on my show and interview? Be out there that you think
Well,
would be
without a doubt, I
yeah,
hope he's watching here. This Michael Buffington needs to come on the show. That
okay.
guy is an absolute character. How he's not an actor, I don't know, but
Yeah.
he's just pure comedy. I would love to see Mike go through one of these segments and here's
Yeah.
some of his answers. I think your audience will love it too. The guy's just, as
Yeah.
you know, animated and fun.
Yeah. I'll talk to Buff, his brother, get him on here, hopefully make it work. We'll see what we can do.
We gotta get either
Street.
Mike Buff,
Yeah.
Dan Buff Senior or Junior. Like
Yeah.
we got to get one of the Buffs. Those guys they're a
Okay.
lot of fun. So
All right. And then what's on the bucket list you want to do out there?
bucket list. Two main things. One, I know it sounds funny or cliche, but I want to watch my son go through life and grow up and some of his accolades and stuff he does.
That's
Right.
cool.
I
Yeah.
think it's every parent's dream, right? I mean, 'cause tomorrow's not promised, so I'd love to see that as a bucket list item. And then also, like my wife's love what language she loves to travel, so probably traveling the world with her and seeing how that brings her joy.
Okay.
I don't love airplanes, but I deal with them, but that's something that she wants to do. So I think that would definitely be on my bucket list. And then lastly, just having a peaceful, slower life. As I get older, the more I enjoy like slowing things down and like just enjoying it, not rushing.
Okay. So so you're not flying. So what is that? Scared of heights or just the up and down of taking off, landing?
It's a culmination. Like, I think it's the anxiety of not being in control, right? Like you're not control the plane or what's going on or turbulence, right? Turbulence really messes with me sometimes. Take off and landing, yeah, it's a bit of a rush. Landing, not as bad as okay, we're done. We're getting out of the air, right? I know they're like plane crashes are so like it's such a not a realistic risk, but
Yeah.
it still scares the hell out of me because I'm like, dude, if we go down, we're not most likely gonna make it out of this. And so I think that scares me for sure.
And then how do we find you on social media? Get in touch with you, David.
Yeah, a couple different ways. Instagram at Duarte Family Real Estate, Facebook David Duarte, LinkedIn David Duarte. We have a fledgling YouTube channel that we're trying to get off the ground if we get time to do it. Duarte Family Real Estate Services, and also I think I have a Threads account, also Duarte Family Real Estate. But yeah, reach out to me. I'm available anytime. Love to get to know more.
All right. And so from on the spot, we are on social media. We're on Spotify. We're on those podcast channels. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Follow the show. Follow us on there. Any questions about the real estate market, please reach out to us. Here to help. You got David out here too as well. So from on the spot, right here, see real estate through a new lens. Goodbye. Any final thoughts, David, before we get out of here?
Yeah, no, I want to say appreciate it, Steve. These are always a lot of fun. Like I said, watch you do these. These are great. I think they kind of like help people get to know folks around them. And
Yeah.
again, I appreciate your time. I know we've been talking about this for like, gosh, almost a year. So,
Yeah.
again,
Make it
appreciate you, man.
happen.
It's a lot of fun.
Cool. All right. If I'm on the spot, right here.
See you guys.
All right. Good.